Who would win in a fight? Sadako, all of her movie versions into one, against Nightmare from FNEF but in novel version. In this battle, we have two pretty terrifying entities. Sadako Yamamura, the vengeful spirit which really targets people from the ring, and Nightmare, the shadowy hallucination from Five Nights at Freddy's novels. Both are true masters of fear. But who would actually truly come out as the victor in this death battle? To proceed any further, we must understand the weaknesses and strengths of both characters. For example, Sadako's strengths are that she can manifest physically and supernaturally, affecting both the real world and people's minds. Not to mention the fact that her curse videotape is inescapable, which already tells us anyone who watches it is cursed unless they spread the curse. She also has reality warping abilities, which lets her move through screens, teleport, and manipulate perception. She also has immortality and regeneration, which would make her nearly impossible to kill. The weaknesses of Sadako are pretty limited, however, the curse takes time to kill, so she isn't an instant fighter. Her second comes from the fact that some versions of her are more reliant on her video spreading than others, which can be a take back in some situations. As we move on to Nightmare, his strengths include that he can invade minds and manipulate fear, appearing as a terrifying hallucination which can induce fear. He can also exist in a way that would make him nearly intangible, however not fully intangible. He's more of a mental horror than a true physical threat. Just like with Sadako, Nightmare isn't free of any weaknesses. Nightmare's weaknesses are that he isn't truly physical, meaning he lacks the ability to directly harm opponents. His power is based on fear, but Sadako isn't the type to be scared. She is the fear herself. So, in my personal opinion, the way how the battle would play out would be that Nightmare would lurk in the shadows trying to terrify Sadako with illusions. However, as he shifts form and distorts reality, and makes himself an overwhelming presence, there's just one problem. Sadako isn't affected by fear. Instead, she would immediately turn tables using her own psychic abilities. She forces her cursed video upon Nightmare, binding him to his fate. Even if Nightmare is fully physical, the curse affects anyone who perceives it, and Nightmare being a mental entity would have no choice to experience it. Sadako would eventually win this death battle. While Nightmare is a terrifying force in his own definite right, he simply lacks the means to defeat Sadako. He does not have any abilities that could bypass her videotaped curse, which makes me conclude that Sadako would be able to defeat novel's only Nightmare, which is a relatively low to mid-level of difficulty.